and you and I are gonna have to work on that, because some of that is fire. That charges for the fire.
Oh, no, I already got that, I already paid their bill. Theirs was $383.40 something, I can't read it. But the total was $700 and some. The last statement was $700 and some.
That would make sense, yeah, it'd be
Okay.
700 something, because.
And so I've already made it.
We won't owe 831, we'll owe 300 or something.
Well, right now it's $283.43, but I'm gonna verify with her tomorrow when she
Okay.
calls me and tell her what I've already paid and then verify. Because that check is actually sitting in the box waiting for somebody to sign it. I think McLaughlin's already signed air gap. They need one more signature and that one will go out.
Okay.
And then we'll work on, I can't do too much at one time. So then I'll work on this check and this, and then get this one out. Then after that's done, we'll see where we're at and then we'll work it from there. But at least we'll be caught up.
Yeah.
So everybody good with that? That was air gas. That one's been sitting like forever, so I wanted to get that out of the way. Is there any particular one you want to speak on, Mr. Wolf?
No.
Okay, so, I have a list of what, we taking care of conduct, we're taking care of,
Now that check went to them,
that's been a while.
I'm gonna make sure that they come and get the machine out.
I'm not sure about Pro On Call,
No cost.
okay,
I can get a closeout letter for you on that one if you'd like.
okay, domestic uniform,
We have to continue to pay until the warrior gets that.
okay, Dave's Power Night, I know that's the one on Blue Crest, and I don't know where that's at.
I will call and give you a report by the end of the week on the refresh.
And that's the only list of stuff I have besides the Jefferson Regional Water Authority, but I haven't gotten another invoice on that, so we just held whatever we had about the fire hydrants, I think it was. So I haven't gotten anything else, and I haven't seen any letters or anything come, so. Those were the main ones that were kind of behind, but we're good, I think, on that. And then, if I remember correctly, as I said before, the only ones are those last few that we just set, and you should have a copy of. And I'm sure there's more that I don't get that you got, because I noticed on the mail out that Adrian gives us, that she's supposed to.
Yeah.
There's some bills that come to you that I don't see.
Okay, I'll make sure
So-
to get back to you.
Okay, so I know there's some that I just don't get track of. But again, I have an issue because I get the phone calls, because I'm the fiscal officer. I don't know that these bills are in, so I'm gonna try to work something out and see if it works. I'm gonna start sending a note. First of all, I'm gonna start sending a note to the companies that still send them over here to One Business Park. I had gotten the credit card, Fifth Third Bank, I changed the address, I don't know why the credit card came in. So,
Yeah, Greg got it here
yeah.
this morning.
Yeah, and I don't know why it came here, but we got that taken care of. There was an issue with the credit card that, it got, you know how sometimes the funds, somebody can get the account and use it for something else? Well, that's happened several times on the fire department. So the bank saw that they caught that it was being some fraudulent use, so they closed the account. And then when they went to go use the card, they couldn't use it. And then I got a letter that came over to One Business Park and then ended up coming over to Calumet Center because they put the little yellow. And then that was like 5 days afterwards. And so I finally we knew the account was closing, so I called the bank and told them, yes, there was fraudulent activities, and we got another card sent out. So they just got it today. But they were having issues with being able to buy stuff for the fire department.
So whose card was this, the fraudulent activity against?
The battalion chief.
Which one?
There's only one card, the battalion chief. There's no particular person it was for. It was only the battalion chief's card. Didn't say it was against anybody. So there's nobody to blame on that. It was just the one card. Just like there's only one.
So those
trustee
cards
card.
are in battalion chief, not a specific name?
That's correct. It says battalion chief, just like the trustees card, it says trustees. There's only one trustee card. Now, Steve has his in his name, and the fire chief says fire chief on it. When the road department had a card, when it was a road department, Randy had his name on it. No, the previous road supervisor had his name on it. Randy's had road department on it. I think that's all the cards. Yeah, that's all the cards. So If you want, I can change those to say administrator. That's the only one I think has a name on it. Steve's card is the only one I have.
Well, last meeting you said you got rid of the trustee card, so a trustee card doesn't exist.
Didn't I say I got rid of trustee cards the last meeting? I did not mention a card at the last meeting. Did you mention one?
You brought it up.
No,
Last
I
time we
did
talked
not.
about credit cards.
You did
you
that
said
over the
Because of
email.
fraudulent activity or illegal charges.
Yes, I
that
sent you an
OTA,
email on
you
that. I did
canceled
not
that.
talk about it in the meeting. That was the email that we're not going to discuss because the other trustees don't want to hear about it. That was your email. It was not in the meeting.
Well, for the record, we don't have a trustee card. You don't seem real interested.
Well, no, I'm not,
Yeah.
because, I'm gonna tell you why I'm not, because I did what I was supposed to. I called the bank 2 times, and I sent you this in the email, and I'm gonna tell you this, and this is all I'm gonna talk about, and we're done with it. And I never received the card. Somebody here is receiving that card and not letting me know. And if nobody finds it right to tell me, then I don't see any reason for me to worry about it.
So a year and a half without a card.
That's not my problem. If somebody gets the card, because I called twice, the report I never received it. Somebody is getting that card. Why is everybody else's card here except the trustee? So who's getting the card, Jim? Do you know who's getting the card?
I do not.
I did.
Why am I asking
I
about the card if
asked
do?
you, did I say, Jim, are you getting the card? You said, I did not. I asked you, do you know who's getting the card?
There's no card as far as you, according to you, there isn't.
I just told you that I called the bank twice and they told me that the card was sent here. Now, if the card was sent here, somebody's getting it. And I asked you, do you know who's getting it? Okay, so that is where I'm at. I'm done with it. I'm not going through it anymore. The trustees won't have a card until somebody owns up to getting, because I'm tired of calling the bank. That's just a waste of my time. You know what? I know what I'll do. I'll call one more time, and I know what I'll do. I know what I'll do. And you will have a credit card in about 2 weeks. And then this issue will be solved, and that's the end of it. Okay, so anybody else got any question on the bills as far as the budget? There is, how do I say? It's just, the real big concern is gonna go back again to you guys looking at these, this appropriation sheet. I don't spend any money out of these, out of the general fund, out of the road fund. Any fund that Mr. Wolf manages, he spends all that money out of there. Only money I touch are the salaries, because I don't have those are direct pays from those. If you look on the paper, you'll see the first about 10 have D's next to them. Those are direct funds that most of those are the salaries, and I do for payroll. The payroll's already paid. I just have to designate it in UAN. That money comes out automatically. So there's no reason for any of the departments to even worry about the salaries, because Adrian does the payroll and everything. They work to get that done. They don't need to do that allotment on that. So I just make sure that I take it out of the right funds according to the approved schedule you guys approved at the beginning or the end of last year. That's how I take them out. The other funds I have to have approved from the departments, meaning Steve for the general and all the other funds, the fire chief for the fire department. That's basically it. So any money comes out of general fund is because Steve would tell me to take them out of there, besides the salary. So these numbers are what Steve would know. Steve would know if there's not any in there. He should know that they're not in there. Just like the fire department would know if there's not any in there. And when I give you these updates, they shouldn't change other than what you've given me in between the 2 times. So do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? So even if it's a week, 2 weeks after, he still wrote the POs or the invoices, and he knows what his balance should be. Same thing with the fire department. They know what their balance should be. I just do what that piece of paper tells me, what they give me. So no matter how you say to me, you need this every day because it's static or it's not static, it doesn't matter. The departments are the one that manages their budget. It's your budget, trustees. You have given the authority for each department to manage their part of the budget. I only take the money out as you guys approve and they tell me. I don't change any of this, so I want that to be made clear to all of you. That I don't change, I only print out what UAN is, what I've been told and what UAN has. I don't change anything. Again, it's the salaries that you might not know, but you sign those, that form every pay period in that folder. By the way, there are 2, now 3 payroll in the file cabinet that need to be signed. So if, this is all, I want to go through it real fast because I can go into more detail. If you got any more questions, or after you look at all this stuff, call me on my phone at home, call me wherever you can give me, you have all those numbers. I am free to talk to you unless I tell you I'm really busy and I'll call you back. But I am free. I don't understand why you guys don't call me, other than you're probably afraid I'm going to snap at you or something, but I'm on the phone. I can't hurt you. So call me. I'm wanting to work with you guys, but you don't call me. You do not call me. And Mr. Mann, I was so shocked that he called me about the board because it needed to be done. He called me. And I appreciate you calling me, Mr. Mann, to get that done. And I did work with you, correct?
Correct, yes.
All right. So there's no issue about working with me. I mean, McLaughlin has called me to work with stuff. And the fire chief called me all the time. We talk almost every day. We can get this done and we can get this done right. If you just call me and have your papers ready or have your questions ready, because I have to be in front of the computer to answer some of your questions. He had his fund codes. I was able to just rattle them off and give them to you, and you were able to give me the piece of paper. And that board PO is sitting in the mailbox waiting for a signature. I did it as soon as I got the email from Adrian. I did it, and it's sitting over there. Once the PO is signed, I'll cut the check, and that will be in the mailbox as well. So if there's no other questions, I'm done for now. We may want to have another meeting if you guys have other questions, or like I said, you can call me. Again, be respectful that I do other things besides this, but I will get back to you if I can't get to you right there.
Thank you. Okay, so that's discussing the 3 things we had on the agenda for old business. The next title, the next subject is new business, and there's no topics. Does anybody have any new business they want to discuss in the work session?
I have one.
Okay.
I'd like to talk about the fire department, and a raise for the fire department. We have some people that has left, and we need to have a raise to compete with the other departments that's around. So, give you a copy of this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry about my math.
So basically, what we're talking about, and this is not only me that's talking about this, but there were some people involved. We're going to $18 an hour for firefighter paramedics. And I think right now we may have 3 paramedics. That is gonna put us up in the top section of people.
Do we need, Rory, do we need to, just a general question, do we need to put a top to that? I mean, you say it's a beginning pay, do we need to, does it need to be in there, like the different classifications in the road department is X dollars to X dollars, class 2 is X dollars, do we need to put a top on that, or do we be okay with just starting, just leaving it like that, just asking?
I'm gonna say for a firefighter 2, we're gonna be asking paramedics $18 an hour.
Okay.
And at some point, we're gonna have to bring up our personnel that we have that meets that classification, bring those guys up. And also, while we're doing it, I'm saying $14 for the EMTs, firefighters.
Okay.
Do you think, are you reasonably confident that this is gonna get the job done for attracting applicants?
Are we gonna be up in the top section with people around here that's hiring? And there's some other departments that's at $18 an hour.
So I guess, Mr. Trustee McGuire, are you asking, is this the minimum amount? And then I see this last one says additional incentives do exist for various certifications. So if they come in as a firefighter paramedic at $18 and they have, I don't know, 15 years experience, I'm making up a number because I don't know anything about it, they're gonna get more than $18 per hour?
We would take a look at what kind of training they have, like they're an inspector or have some other duties out there.
So I guess I was asking McLaughlin, is that gonna explain it better? Do you want something more explained?
Well, I'm good with the way it's worded. I'm okay with that.
Okay. Because, I mean, it could be left at the discretion, and we need to, well, the reason why I'm talking it is because we need to make sure we account for that in the budget. Because when this budget was done at the beginning of the year, they had a set amount and they did that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So when you do consider that, somebody needs to also make sure that considering that's gonna fit in the budget for the rest of the year. Because this is 9/27 is when you plan on hiring.
Yes, we're gonna need to hire as soon as we find the qualified personnel.
How many positions do we need to fill at the firefighter paramedic level?
Well, I would say we're gonna need probably about 6 or 7 people. But we've got to, and you gotta look at both stations. Are you gonna hire for both stations? You got 2 brand new medics that's came in, that's been referred. So, what they're saying out there is, these people are hard to get, so we gotta put in for it, advertise, and see what happens.
What's the likelihood of any part-time applications for that? Is that doubtful, or is that traditionally just a full-time position?
No, these are part-time.
Part-time.
These are part-time.
The part-time and there's, if you guys approve this resolution that's on the agenda, it looks like it says it's 1, 2, 3, 4 firefighters, but what does firefighter EMTB mean?
You have firefight, you have EMTs advanced, then you have EMT, the basics.
But that's not a paramedic, correct?
No.
So we're losing 4 firefighters if you guys approve this resolution. Well, they probably still go whether you approve it or not, but there are 4 firefighters that said they were going to quit. Agree to resign. So there's 4 right there to answer part of your question, Jim. And I don't remember how many quit before that. So have any of those positions been filled, or that's what you're trying to fill, or you're trying to get additional?
There was a couple people hired, and I don't know what their status was.
Plus you need to replace these people that are gone, and plus you need to also cover for those who are at the $1,500 rule, right?
We do have some problems there, yes.
So you could, well, you could be hiring up 15 people possibly, if you can raise the salary. And so that's my concern, do you have enough money to hire that many people?
Well, we're only gonna hire so many, as long as we have the, enough staff to run our operation as far as.
Who determines that?
Well, the fire
Fire
chief
chief?
would be,
Okay.
and his staff would be the people.
Okay.
Looks good, Roy. It's good.
Okay,
Anybody else have any other new business we want to discuss in the work session?
I have a question for trustees and maybe fiscal officer. I got a call today from the Jefferson Water Authority that says they're tearing down the controls building under the water tower up above the fireworks facility, and said that the township radio repeater is inside that building, and want to know what we want to do with it. So maybe Mr. Mann, you might be able to answer the best answer to this. Is that radio repeater even involved now because we went to the 911 system, or is it still active in that building?
I'm gonna say you need to have the BC to go and pull that radio, and then he can turn it over to Montgomery County and see, they'll check it and see
So
if
you
that
want me to
repeater's
also,
good.
get with BC, but you want me to also contact the county radio communications to make sure that that's not active? I mean, in other
You
words,
could-
they didn't program it in, you know, we have the big tower on 35, and that's the tower for the entire Dayton area dispatches, even though it comes out of the mountain, right down here, near Infirmary. That
Okay.
big tower does the whole county, so I don't know if our repeater is even involved anymore.
I'm not sure whether the repeater is or not, but there again, the BC knows Stevens down at
Okay.
Montgomery County, and they will determine that.
Okay, I'll follow through with that. Thank you, President.
Anything else?
Okay, we talked about having the banker come out to buy credit cards. Is that still gonna happen, or?
Jim was supposed to look into that.
And then we had COVID, so it's kind of fallen off. I don't even know if we can get them up here for that.
Actually, it would be a local person.
Okay, what means do we have now of purchasing things for the road department and fire department? Still the same, or have it changed?
I'm not sure what do you mean by?
Well,
Well,
before-
right now, I'll tell you what, it looks like, this is what it looks like to me, tell me different, Steve, but it looks like, that some of the road department people, that's why there's so many reimbursements for purchasing the thing. We're gonna need to, I looked into the lowest credit card, they were in the fire chief's name, so I destroyed those cards.
I'd like to reset those accounts if we could.
Well, you probably just have to open a new account.
Right. You have two options. One, you can, you know, like any of the Lowe's, Home Depot, Sam's, any of those accounts, the road department right now doesn't have an account at any. The only thing they have an account at is O'Reilly's. We do have one at Boone's. They have one at Buckeye Power, and that's it.
O'Reilly's is still a fire department one though, isn't it?
No, there's 3 separate accounts now.
Oh, okay.
But we talked about that in the
But
trustees.
they,
and-
yeah, they still, when I get the bills, I can't determine which is road and which is fire, but if you can, then I'm fine with it.
Well, we do our best, but I'll call O'Reilly's and see why they're not coming out on separate accounts. So, might just be our staff not realizing there's a separate accounts in there. And New Lebanon is the location of the O'Reilly's, but, so we need help somehow, because when you look at the number of the reimbursements, our people should not be putting anything on their private credit card. And sometimes it's, at times, $200-300. We can't ask that of our workers. So I'd like to know if, you know, what Roy is asking is will you work with me if I bring you credit applications? Because they ask for the fiscal officer to have to sign them, I'm not allowed to at least open up the accounts at a limited with no credit card. We don't want a credit card on any of it. We want it to be a charge account.
I'm gonna tell you, Steve, I don't know why they asked for the fiscal officer, because on the fire department, on their card, it was the chief signed it, and the road department, the Grandy signed. In fact, for a matter of fact, I know for a fact that there were several credit cards I didn't know were open, like the Lowe's account. I didn't even know they were open. And you know, we talked about that before.
Right.
And I understand, I do need to
The
know.
problem you get into with a government entity is this, and trustees, I just want to say, I'm not saying I'm an expert in this, but the only person that's bonded to make financial transactions for the township is the fiscal officer in a township. Your staff only have bonds, or what they call theft in office, only about $5,000. So our staff should never have been signing for credit cards anywhere. And we had several past staff sign for credit cards. It has to be certified by your board of trustees, and your person that does your finances is the fiscal officer. So the fiscal officer has the power to turn a card on and turn it off. Otherwise, you have an employee running around with credit cards in their name, and it doesn't mean anything bad will happen, but you've opened yourself to that problem. So when you lose staff, you don't have to run around like poor Tracy had to get all these cards back from the staff that's not here anymore. And then erroneous charges occurred on the card. What I'm saying to you is you solve those issues by having any application going through your fiscal officer who attests for it and has an accounting of it. So you don't have accounts being opened up by somebody in a department and you know nothing about them.
I hear what you're saying, but I don't have confidence. I don't even want to have the Fifth Third in my name for the fact that I don't have a card and I was not allowed to have a card. So I don't want to be signing any form that I don't have access to the card at any time. I don't have any of the credit. I have the last four of all the credit card numbers. According to our credit card policy, I should have all that on record. So there shouldn't be any issue if somebody else has a card, but the trustees need to say, it needs to be in this particular name, say road department, fire department, whatever it may be, not in a person's name. And I just I don't feel right signing my name to something that I won't ever have access to. So that is my put on it. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't feel right signing an application by myself. It'll be somebody else who's in charge of those cards. I'll sign it, but I need for the road. Steve's the road department person, he ought to sign it too. Or one of the trustees, who's ever over the road, who's ever over the fire, because I don't have access to those cards. I don't have any control of those cards. I shouldn't have control, but if I have to be the one signing it, I should have some kind of access. If you don't agree, then you guys are gonna have to work out something else to do, because I don't wanna have to sign those. Because I'm not the road department manager, I'm not the fire department manager, or any of the, and I don't have access to any of the Fifth Third cards. I don't have a Fifth Third card. So that's just my put on it. So whatever decision you guys make, if it has to do with me, I'm gonna say something about it.
We want to end the work session over time.
Move to adjourn.
I'll second. So the work session is adjourned at 7:03.